She is no longer in the league.
Getting waived is crazy because, like, what do you do after you get waived?
Because she not only got let go by the Chicago Sky, she has been let go by the New York Liberty, and she's crying online about it.
It finally happened. The hit that shocked fans, enraged the internet, and nearly broke Caitlin Clark has now ended the career of Diamond DeShields.
The league is getting rid of the Caitlin Clark haters. DJ Curry better move on eggshells, bro. She's the only one left. She is no longer in the league, crying online about it.
Just moments ago, the WNBA made it official. Diamond has been suspended and blacklisted after what many are calling one of the most violent and disgraceful moments in league history.
Caitlin Clark gets hit from behind, how bad, egregious it was from Diamond DeShields, and Caitlin Clark jumps up and runs away from Diamond DeShields.
No team is allowed to touch her. No second chances. No quiet return. Her name is off the board, permanently. But this isn't just punishment. This is a message. You come for Caitlin Clark? Your career ends in silence.
Caitlin Clark is the cash cow in this league. She is the needle mover.
And now, with the footage still burning across social media, the question everyone's asking is, why did it take this long? The WNBA's decision to suspend and blacklist Diamond DeShields didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of weeks of mounting backlash, escalating tension, and a single moment that crossed every line.
Caitlin Clark is trying to cut in this position right here, and Diamond DeShields just body checks her. Like, it's a foul. This sequence of play was wild. Absolutely, absolutely wild.
During what should have been a routine matchup, DeShields took things to a level no one saw coming. In a play that has since gone viral for all the wrong reasons, she aggressively slammed into Caitlin Clark, off ball, unprovoked, and far beyond what could ever be considered a basketball move.
Caitlin Clark is not happy at all with this.
The crowd gasped, fans online exploded in outrage, and immediately demands for accountability flooded the league's front office. It wasn't just a hard foul, it was a statement, and the wrong kind. With Clark already under the spotlight as the league's biggest new star, this act felt personal, calculated, and vicious.
Caitlin Clark played against the Chicago Sky and she got cheap shotted, and there is a sequence of plays that's crazy, and it leads to Caitlin Clark telling her team, is it Erica Wheeler, that she wanted to fight Diamond DeShields.
Replay angles showed that the hit came without warning and had nothing to do with the ball or the play. And while Clark, in true fashion, got back up, stayed composed, and continued to play, the silence from the officials that night only fueled the fury.
She assaulted Caitlin Clark on the court right before Caitlin Clark came off the court with 3:52 left.
Social media lit up with slow-motion breakdowns, frame-by-frame commentary, and comparisons to past dirty plays that were swiftly punished. But this one, it lingered. And as the days passed without action, fans and analysts began to question whether the league was willing to protect its most valuable player at all. The anger wasn't just about DeShields. It was about a system that allowed her to stay on the court after such a blatant act of aggression.
Diamond DeShields actually getting waived from the Connecticut Sun just one day prior to tomorrow's May 16th, WNBA's 2025 season tip-off. She looked heartbroken and in pain, with the news of her being waived from the Connecticut Sun.
Getting waived is crazy because, like, what do you do after you get waived? I got all my stuff up here that I drove in a rental car from Atlanta, and now I have to drive all my stuff back to Atlanta, but I can't seem to find a rental car because none are available anywhere. So I need to figure out how I'm gonna get my stuff back to Atlanta. The team will ship 3 to 5 boxes, but I have more than 3 to 5 boxes worth of stuff.
If you are not producing, if you're not giving them what they need, if you're not putting them stats up, if you ain't putting up no numbers, you're gonna be out of a job. Again, look what just happened to Haley Jones. She just was on Instagram the other day, excited about closing on a home. The very next day, the Atlanta Dream just cut her.
Now the league has spoken, and not softly. By suspending and blacklisting Diamond DeShields, the WNBA has effectively ended her professional career. Teams are barred from signing her. Her name is off every active roster, and while some are calling it harsh, others are saying it's long overdue. Because what happened on that court wasn't just a foul, it was an assault on everything the league is trying to build.
WNBA commissioner playing in house with these Caitlin Clark haters.
And Caitlin Clark? She didn't have to retaliate. The league finally did it for her. The WNBA's suspension and blacklisting of Diamond DeShields has now ignited a league-wide conversation about boundaries, accountability, and the shifting power dynamics within women's basketball. For weeks, fans have watched as Caitlin Clark became a magnet for overly physical and at times reckless contact on the court.
Man, oh man, when Caitlin Clark does something, everybody celebrates. When Caitlin Clark does something, there is no jealousy.
Every game seemed to come with a new viral clip of her being shoved, slammed, or blindsided. And every time Clark stood tall, never retaliated, and kept playing. But the hit from DeShields was different. It wasn't just aggressive. It was dangerous, deliberate, and, in the eyes of many, an intentional attempt to take out the player reshaping the league's future. The WNBA's delayed response drew sharp criticism. Why didn't the league act immediately?
Diamond DeShields lays out Caitlin Clark because all the Sky's untalented women is what they have left is racist rage.
Why was DeShields allowed to continue playing for days while the footage of her hit racked up millions of views? Inside sources suggest that league officials were divided. Some feared that punishing DeShields too harshly would create locker room friction or stir deeper resentment among veterans who already felt sidelined by the media frenzy around Clark. But as public pressure mounted and as sponsors and broadcasters began to question the league's integrity, a decision had to be made.
When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! That's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league right now. Are you kidding me?
And when it came, it was final. Not only was DeShields suspended indefinitely, but the WNBA issued a rare directive that no team could pick her up during the remainder of the season. For all intents and purposes, her career has been put on ice. While the league stopped short of calling it a lifetime ban, the message was clear.
Caitlin Clark is trying to cut in this position right here, and Diamond DeShields just body checks her. Like, it's a foul. This sequence of play was wild. Absolutely, absolutely wild.
Violent retaliation will not be tolerated, especially not when it's aimed at the athlete who's single-handedly transforming the league's global profile. Behind the scenes, the fallout has been swift. Teams are tightening internal policies. Coaches are urging players to rein in their emotions. And players who once brushed off the idea that Clark deserved special protection are starting to realize this goes beyond basketball politics.
As the lovely Lee Ross always says, women in sports do not want to see other women in sports succeed. It's just the way they're built.
When the league's brightest star is getting knocked around with no consequence, it sends the wrong message to fans, future stars, and the next generation of women watching. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, has stayed quiet, letting the league, the fans, and the footage speak for her.
Kennedy Carter assaults Caitlin Clark on the court. That's Kennedy Carter. That was Caitlin Clark. She'll run up behind her. She's going to call her a bitch right here, and she's going to viciously slam Caitlin Clark to the floor. What is going on in this league?
Her refusal to play victim, combined with her relentless performance under pressure, has only amplified the respect she's earned from the public.
Somebody said that the Diamond DeShields flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark was more dangerous than the Kennedy Carter one.
She's never asked for special treatment, just fairness. And now with DeShields out and the league finally taking a stand, there's hope that change might actually follow. But the damage is done. DeShields' reputation has taken a massive hit, and the WNBA, by waiting too long, allowed this to become more than just a disciplinary issue. It became a test of how much they're willing to protect their future, a test they barely passed in time.
Caitlin Clark played against the Chicago Sky and she got cheap shotted, and there is a sequence of plays that's crazy, and it leads to Caitlin Clark telling her team, is it Erica Wheeler, that she wanted to fight Diamond DeShields.
Now that the dust is settling, the consequences of Diamond DeShields' suspension are being felt across the WNBA in ways that go far beyond a single player's career. Her ejection from the league isn't just a punishment, it's a turning point. For years, the WNBA has battled for national relevance, fighting for fair media coverage, attendance, and respect. Caitlin Clark changed that. Her arrival injected energy, viewership, and unprecedented spotlight into the league. But that spotlight also exposed deeper issues of jealousy, resistance to change, and an undercurrent of hostility from some players who felt Clark hadn't yet earned her spotlight.
There's the two sides who think she is only popular and does have the notoriety and recognition that she does because she is white. There is the other side that says you guys are crazy, you're all jealous of her, and she is just talented.
Right, and that's what a lot of these women are doing is they feel like what we have done for this game, this young player has come into our game and she's getting way more respect and all that stuff than we are. As she should. The young girl is a baller. The young girl has people watching because of the way she can shoot this basketball like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't dunk. Steph Curry don't do none of that in the game. He can probably dunk by himself, but he don't really do none of that in the game. He is a shooter, and fans tune in to see Steph Curry. When I look at Caitlin Clark, fans are tuning in to watch her. And you know who that's helping? Everybody else. It's helping the Asia Wilsons. It's helping everybody else, the Plums, all that. It's helping all of them, the Tarasis.
Because everyone who tries to guard Cece winds up.
DeShields became the face of that resistance and ultimately paid the price. Her aggressive play against Clark, captured and dissected by millions, became a symbol of the tension building within the league. Players were no longer just competing. Some were retaliating. And in DeShields' case, it crossed a line so blatant that even the league's leadership, who had been slow to act in past incidents, could no longer stay silent. But the real story here isn't just DeShields' downfall. It's the shift in tone around Caitlin Clark. The narrative is no longer about whether she belongs. That question was answered long ago.
Most points by a point guard in a season in WNBA history. Most double-doubles by a rookie guard in WNBA history. Most points by a rookie in WNBA history. Most assists by a rookie in the history of the WNBA. First WNBA rookie to record 2 triple-doubles. First triple-double by a rookie in WNBA history. First triple-double in Fever history. The first player to be named WNBA Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month. First player in WNBA history with 20 or more points, 15 or more assists, and 5 or more rebounds in a game. She won Rookie of the Month 4 times. Eastern Conference Player of the Week 3 times, single season rookie record for assists, single season rookie record for 3-pointers, single game record for assists, 19, franchise record for most double-doubles, 3-pointers, career 10 or more assists in a game, franchise record for most career 10 or more assists in a game. Fastest WNBA player to reach 100 3-pointers. She did it in 34 games, most assists by a rookie in a WNBA All-Star game for which she received the most fan votes ever, 700,000 of those. Fastest player to reach 350 points and 150 assists to start a season regardless of years in the league. People will say, pay more attention to the other folks. Like, she couldn't do it herself. You know, LeBron has teammates, Jordan had teammates. I understand.
Now it's about how far the league is willing to go to protect its most valuable player. Not because she's fragile, but because the stakes are too high to let her become a punching bag for unresolved tension. Clark is the biggest reason new fans are tuning in, why arenas are selling out, and why the WNBA is enjoying a wave of commercial success it hasn't seen in years. With this suspension, the WNBA is sending a message not just to DeShields, but to the entire league. Things are different now. The league is no longer tolerating unchecked aggression under the excuse of tough play. Players are being watched more closely, officials are being pressured to act more decisively, and stars like Caitlin Clark are no longer expected to simply absorb abuse in silence.
This team is going to break so many records this year. Attendance, viewership, merch sales, all of the things.
This was a preseason WNBA game. It is unbelievable what it is Caitlin Clark does.
Whenever Caitlin Clark takes the floor, that maybe is different not only from any player in the WNBA, but from any player in basketball.
As for DeShields, her silence since the suspension has only added to the drama. No apology, no explanation, no sign of regret. And with her name removed from active rosters and unofficially blacklisted, the question now is whether this moment marks the end of her career or if she'll try to mount a return in a league that's clearly moving in a different direction. Either way, this moment will be remembered, not just as the day a player was punished, but as the moment the WNBA drew its line in the sand. choosing the future of the league over the anger of the past. And leading that future is Caitlin Clark, still standing, still silent, and still proving that greatness always speaks for itself.
1.3 million viewers on the TV rating for Caitlin Clark's preseason debut against Brazil in a blowout, sold out in front of 15,000 fans at $670 a ticket. She is the needle.
Caitlin Clark returned to Iowa yesterday. It looked like the entire state of Iowa shut down. This is what the drawing power of a real star looks like.
Diamond DeShields' suspension isn't just the end of a player's season. It's the beginning of a new era in the WNBA. The league has finally sent a clear message. Protecting its future matters more than protecting pride. And Caitlin Clark, who has taken every hit, every cheap shot, and every ounce of disrespect without ever backing down, just proved once again why she's not only built for this, she's built to lead.
You know, for whatever reason, they decide to get themselves involved, whether it is actually malintent or maybe they just want to get themselves in the headline. A lot of players got the spotlight this season because of Caitlin Clark, not to mention just overall Caitlin Clark brought millions, literally, more eyeballs to the league this season.
Pretty exciting. One of the big reasons fans flock to State Farm Arena is, of course, the Caitlin Clark effect.
The best player in America, the best shooter in America.
Watch her play. She plays at a high level.
She's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years.
She's the only one capable of taking nothing and making it something. The WNBA was nothing before Caitlin Clark.
She didn't need to respond. She didn't need to complain. The league, the fans, and the world did it for her. And now with DeShields out and the path forward reset, one thing is certain. The WNBA isn't just changing, it's growing. And it's growing with Caitlin Clark at the center of it all.
Diamond DeShields actually getting waived from the Connecticut Sun just one day prior to tomorrow's May 16th, WNBA's 2025 season tip-off. She looked heartbroken and in pain, with the news of her being waived from the Connecticut Sun.
Getting waived is crazy because, what do you do after you get waived? I got all my stuff up here that I drove in a rental car from Atlanta, and now I have to drive all my stuff back to Atlanta, but I can't seem to find a rental car because none are available anywhere. So I need to figure out how I'm gonna get my stuff back to Atlanta. The team will ship 3 to 5 boxes, but I have more than 3 to 5 boxes worth of stuff.
If you are not producing, if you're not giving them what they need, if you're not putting them stats up, if you ain't putting up no numbers, you're going to be out of a job. Again, look what just happened to Haley Jones. She just was on Instagram the other day, excited about closing on a home. The very next day, the Atlanta Dream just cut her.